And coming up tonight, Presidency responds to Professor Frimpong Boateng's Galamsey report, saying not a single piece of evidence was adduced or presented to enable the claims to be properly investigated.
Meanwhile, political science professor Ransford Jampo calls on Council of State to make their influence felt as Ghana is suffocating under the weight of illegal mining.
And coming up later on Mission Tonight, support for 16-year-old breastfeeding student of the Gundok Junior High School who is back to school.
On the international front, heavy fighting rages in Sudan's capital Khartoum between warring factions, even as some countries start evacuating their nationals.
It's a Barika de Sanla to all Muslim friends. Good evening and welcome. We're live on Facebook. We're also on DSTV channel 279. You can join us with your views, comments and suggestions on any of our top stories this hour. Let's know what you make of our major stories tonight. Now, the reports of the Inter-Ministerial Committee on Illegal Mining can only be rightly referred to as a catalogue of personal grievances and claims made by Professor Frimpong Boateng, a former Minister of Environment, Science, Technology and Innovation, and also chairperson of the ESWAL Interministerial Committee on Illegal Mining. Well, that's according to a statement from the Presidency. The Presidency also said that it is intended to respond to some issues he faced as chairperson of the IMCIM. Well, the Presidency said the document was not an official report formally delivered to the office of the President. A statement issued by the Presidency on Saturday, April 22, said the document was handed to the Chief of Staff at the office of the President on March 19, 2021 in an informal meeting where Professor Frimpong Boateng complained about public attacks and criticisms made about his tenure as chairperson of the Interministerial Committee on Illegal Mining. Well, according to the statement, whilst Professor Frimpong Boateng makes very serious allegations against some government appointees as having been involved in supporting or interfering with the fight against illegal mining, not a single piece of evidence was adduced or presented to enable the claims to be properly investigated. It further stated that the President's commitment to fighting illegal mining is unassailable, adding that the Office of the President welcomes any information on illegal mining activities which provides a credible basis for investigations to be conducted by the Criminal Investigations Department of the Ghana Police Service. All right, so that was a statement released by the Office of the President earlier in the day. Let's do some analysis on the back of this. Awula Sewa Esquire is coordinator of the Eco-Conscious Citizens, which is an environmental awareness NGO. Thank you very much, ma'am, for your time and welcome to News 360. Now, the statement notes that allegations contained in the document are best hearsay and describes the document as a catalogue of personal grievances. Now, what do you make of this response coming in from the Presidency?
Good evening. Thank you very much for having me. I find it very, very interesting. And I'm wondering what has changed between 2021, when the report was written and delivered, and 2023. The only thing that has changed is that the public is now aware of this report. And there is some scrutiny on it. So for me, the important thing is that if allegations have been made, and serious allegations at that, and we are truly concerned about the way mining is damaging our environment, then obviously we'll do something about the allegations, not keep them hidden until the public gets to hear of them.
Do you care that the President is concerned that the man who made all these allegations has up until date not provided any iota of evidence to back his claims?
So why didn't we ask him for further and better particulars? For me, these are all red herrings. If we are truly interested, then we will do something about it. We could call him and ask him for further and better particulars. But what I would say was that, for example, Joy News did an expose on, I think, destruction for gold. There was evidence of persons dressed in military attire protecting illegal miners. What has happened to this investigation? We have not heard anything. So there does not appear to be any degree of seriousness in investigating allegations to do with illegal mining and with highly placed persons complicit or involved. So what has happened now, it's all in the public domain. There should be a public inquiry where persons with information, journalists, environmental organizations, anybody who has information should be invited to come and produce it. There should be a time scale for the appointment of the Commission of Inquiry, the public one, and the report that will be produced should be made public if we really want to get to the bottom of this matter.
Do you shudder that the president in a statement suggests that he's still committed to the fight against illegal mining and that his commitment is unassailable and that the office welcomes any information on illegal mining activities which provides a credible basis for investigations to be conducted by the Criminal Investigations Department?
Well, I'll say again that the expose Joy News conducted, I believe there was credible evidence. Nothing has come of it. There was credible evidence that Akonta Mining was involved in mining in a forest reserve. My understanding of a forest reserve is that it's not a place for mining to be taking place. What has happened? Have the directors been invited to the police for investigations to be conducted? We haven't heard about that. So seriousness in a matter can be judged by the actions. Words are not very difficult to utter. What is difficult is doing something when allegations are made, investigating them, and ensuring that whether the persons involved are highly placed or not, they are dealt with, that there is accountability. We all can see what is happening in the country. Our rivers are all have all been polluted, the landscape is being polluted, and we can see that the scale on which illegal mining is going on cannot be going on if highly placed persons are not involved or if the authorities are not at all interested in dealing with it. And let me remind us all that today, 22nd April, is International Earth Day. And we are supposed to be concerned about how human beings, other species, and the environment are interacting. And all we humans seem to be doing is destroying the beautiful environment that we're giving. And we need to think again, because there's now a clear and present danger. We might be importing water very soon. We might not have any forest left at the rate at which we are destroying our forest reserves.
Awula Sewa Esquire is coordinator of the Eco-Conscious Group. That's an NGO. Thank you very much, madam, for your time, and good to have you on News 360.
And it has become an issue that has simply refused to go away, whether or not it is entirely as a result of lack of political will or from a chain of factors starting from unemployment. The fight against illegal mining is a long way from being won. Noble Crosby Annan has been discussing what has become the most talked about issue this week.
Vast lands have been destroyed, forest vegetation cut down, water bodies polluted as illegal mining activities continue unabated across the country. From Operation Flush Out in 2006 during former President Kufuor's administration to the establishment of the Interministerial Task Force on Illegal Small-Scale Mining, through to Operation Vanguard, Operation Halt, and Operation Halt 2, amongst others. The public uproar, anger, and interest in this matter continues. It gets louder as citizens and environment watchers alike point fingers at various governments, but particularly the Akufo-Addo-led New Patriotic Party government over the failed Galamsey fight. The revelations from a 36-page Galamsey report from Professor Frimpong Boateng has dominated the headlines. The report, fair to say, shook various ranks within the NPP government and some state agencies over various levels of complicity in Galamsey. Several persons named in Professor Frimpong Boateng's report have been responding to the allegations against them. Information Minister Kojo Oppong-Nkrumah is among the latest to challenge the claims. Amongst the names mentioned in the report over their complicity in thwarting the fight against illegal mining is an NPP functionary and former MP for Manson Kwanta, Joseph Albert Kwam. He has denied the allegations against him.
It is a blatant lie.
You don't own a concession.
I don't have even a single concession throughout my life. So why this report?
Did you help anybody to get a concession in your constituency while you were a member of the Minerals Board Commission?
No, not at all.
He says he may be compelled to take legal action against the originator of the report.
What I'm going to do is I will let my lawyers write to him to retract and apologize. Other than that, we will go to court.
You go to court?
Yes.
Still on the pushback to the explosive report, leading member of the NPP and cousin to the president, Gabi Otridako, has not minced words.
It even tells you how weak the minister's understanding of his position is. If what I did was illegitimate, why don't you take the right action? That he reported me to the president. For the president to do what?
In the face of the allegations and counter-allegations, how can we get to the bottom of this? Political commentator and a private legal practitioner Martin Pegbu proposes the establishment of an independent commission of inquiry.
One of the most viable things he had to do was to set up a commission of inquiry. You see, because it is a matter of national interest. Subject to Article 5 of this Constitution, the President shall, by constitutional instrument, appoint a commission of inquiry into any matter of public interest where A, the President is satisfied that a commission of inquiry should be appointed, or B, the Council of State advises that it is in the public interest to do so, or C, Parliament, by a resolution, requests that a commission of inquiry be appointed to inquire into any matter specified in the resolution as being a matter of public importance.
Bear in mind, there have been series of meetings and engagement on the fight against illegal mining. President Akufo-Addo, during a meeting with the National House of Chiefs last year, called for greater collaboration with traditional leaders in the fight against Galamsey. This engagement is subsequent to the report from the minister presented to the president in March 2021. Many Ghanaians have been asking whether it would not have been better for the president to take action based on the findings from the former minister's report. While speaking on the key points, Ningo Prampram MP Sam George bemoaned the lack of action from the president since the report was made. He wants the office of the special prosecutor to be involved.
I'm wondering why the chief of staff and the presidency has not called any of the individuals mentioned in this report to hear their sides of the story and open an investigation. This is something that should have been referred to the special prosecutor by now. When the president spoke and said, I put my presidency on the line, if the president really meant it, the president would have resigned by now.
Sam George thinks the report should not be discredited.
Professor Frimpong Boateng is no roadside personality in this country. So we're not talking of some party foot soldier who is engaged in PSA or whose credibility is in question. Frimpong Boateng's report, why you cannot take it as a work of a literary piece of work, but as something serious, is the kinds of names he mentioned. If you connect the dots, you cannot discount what Frimpong Boateng is saying.
As we keep failing in the fight against illegal mining, political science professor Ransford Jampel wants the Council of State and other elders in the country to bow their heads in shame.
And I'm still wondering whether we still have a credible body called the Council of State. I'm wondering whether we still have elders in this country. I am wondering whether we still have sober minds in Ghana. If we still have elders in this country, then I am sorry to say that they are no longer worth their salt to occupy that status.
The need is simple. Take action, as the inactions contribute to the menace just as much as the activity itself.
Away from illegal mining, let's go to the Ashanti region, where a CCTV footage revealing the last moments of Majua, the lady shot dead at Idum, and her fugitive partner, has surfaced. The video, which was captured by one of the privately installed closed-circuit security cameras, is expected to aid police investigation. Mami Adjoa, the deceased, was shot multiple times on Thursday night, allegedly by her boyfriend. According to an eyewitness, there was a heated argument between the two moments before the incident, as the alleged boyfriend of the deceased had accused her of cheating. The suspect has meanwhile been identified as Inspector Chumesi, stationed at Minshia. Let's quickly speak to Ashanti Bureau Chief William Evans Inkum for more updates. Thank you so much for your time, Evans. What do we know at this point?
Well, so Inspector Ahmed Chumesi is still at large. In fact, the last time he spoke to a friend was there, I think, about 24 hours ago, when he told the friend where he is moving as far as, Thursday's incident was concerned. In fact, some of the information that have been coming out are very, very classified, and in order not to circumvent police investigation. Maybe it's not everything that some of us will be able to put it out there, but I believe that the police equally, has this information, and that is also aiding them in tracking down the fugitive. But Portia, it has also been established that Mami Adjoa was a royal from the Achampem Palace, and that was where he met the police inspector, who, is detailed at the Menchia Palace to provide security to the seats of the king. There hasn't been any official statement from the police at the moment. Only that, few people that have been engaging, as far as my sources are concerned, within the police service, they're saying that they're still investigating the matter. They have been very, very economical with information. Few information that we are getting, which some are very classified, are coming from close friends who are also engaged with the police to also ensure that at least the police get some level of important leads that will help them track down Inspector Ahmed Chumesi. Currently, even though the man left a very, very bizarre message to his friends and close allies that he is going and he's not likely to come back, but my last check, that guy is still alive.
Evans, no official statement from the police, but what are they saying about their colleague?
Well, some of them are surprised that he could go to that extent, especially, those of our colleagues with the SWAT unit, because that is where he is. He is with the Ashanti Regional Police Command, a member of the Special Weapon and Tactics unit, that is SWAT unit. They've been saying lots of, good things about him. It is so bizarre that he found himself in this kind of situation. But yes, of course, love turns sour. Another horrible thing has to do with Mami Adjoa, whom I'm told that she was even preparing to leave the country. She has a child, so the baby's father was actually making arrangement for her to leave the country sometime next week, only for this kind of situation to befall her. It's a hard pill for the family, but to the family of the suspect, we are yet to hear anything from them. It is only the friends and close allies who have been, sharing some piece of information. But again, they have been very, very economical, because most of the guys that are related to him or friends and allies, they are all policemen, and they are not willing to share a lot of information.
Thank you so much for your time. And William Evans Inkum is our Ashanti Regional Bureau Chief.
Very sad story, Portia. Well, away from that, now the thought of making Kumasi Airport an international one brought loads of excitement among residents. The era of moving to the capital city, Accra, before boarding a flight to travel outside the country was soon to be over. But this may likely take a longer time to happen as work on the third and final stage of completion has been halted.
Work on most major infrastructure projects in Ghana have paused as the country struggles to secure a $3 billion IMF bailout. In the Ashanti region, the second phase of the KJTRE Developed Market, the 500-bed maternity and child unit at Komfanochi Teaching Hospital, and the final phase of the Kumasi International Airport have all been discontinued since December 2022. TV3 sources revealed at least 98% of the workforce have been laid off. The second phase of the airport project, which includes the construction of a new terminal building with a capacity of 1 million passengers per year, parking areas, VIP and VVIP lounge, restaurants, commercial areas, and 3 boarding gates have all been completed. Also, a central screening system for passengers, an IATA standard baggage handling system, and offices for the airline companies are ready. Though the airport was expected to be fully operational by June 2023, the final phase, which includes the pulling down of the existing building and extension of runway, have not been executed. The tower is also about 70% complete.
The halt in work means the completion date for the project may further delay. Sources tell me that until the runway is extended and the tower completed, the airport cannot be used as international one. Ibrahim Abubakar, TV3 News, Kumasi.
Away from the Ashanti region, residents of Jamestown in Accra have lashed out at the Metropolitan Assembly over their inability to enforce the sanitation bylaws. They bemoaned the indiscriminate dumping of refuse when they took their turn in the 3FM Community Connect program.
Jamestown is fishing and fishing is Jamestown, but over the years, filth in the Korle Lagoon that ends up in the sea has led to a total decline of fish here. The predominantly fishing community, due to its proximity to the coastal line, is located close to the central business district of Accra. In a discussion led by the host of 3FM's Community Connect, John Hughes, prevailing insanitary conditions in the area came up.
The fishermen within the community used to go to fishing at the Gamashi Jamestown Beach, and the rubbish that comes out from the Lagoon River normally used to come to the beach where we, the fisher folks at the beach. It's a very big challenge to us, which we cannot contain. That's why this morning we came here about the black polythene bag. We want to ask from the AMA or the government, what is he going to do about that black polythene bag? Because whenever there is a rain, all these bottled waters and the sachets used to go into the gutters, from the gutters to the lagoons.
Came here, they came and met something, which is not good. It means somebody is not doing his work well. We have an assembly member who's supposed to check the area. We have the community, these community people who's supposed to go around and see things. They don't do their job well.
According to the Metropolitan Public Health Director, Florence Kuchi, 657 residents were prosecuted for sanitation offences just last year alone.
Just last year alone, we prosecuted not less than 547 people in court against sanitation issues. AMA is trying as much as possible to get our own sanitation court. And when we have our sanitation courts, the issues of sanitation issues will come down. What we have come to understand is people want legal actions more than education. So when we start with the legal measures, they will change.
The presiding member of AMA, Alfred Ajay,
said he's hopeful the sanitation situation in the area will be addressed. Jamestown, also referred to as British Accra, hosts a number of colonial infrastructure such as the famous James and Usher forts and a lighthouse. The 3FM Community Connects is community engagement program. There was also a free health screening for the residents. Joseph Armstrong, Good Allegro TV3, Accra.
Reminding us to watch in our major news bulletin for the day. We're streaming live on Facebook. We're also live on your DSTV channel 279. We're going to go for a quick break and return with some more stories.
Gentlemen, we're going to demonstrate to you the superior properties of Flamingo paint as compared to other paint brands on the market. We take equal quantities of Flamingo paint and this ordinary paint. We then dilute them with water. And now, let the test begin. The gentleman on the left is going to apply the ordinary paint, and the gentleman on my right will use the Flamingo superior paint. As you can clearly see, Flamingo has the obvious better hiding. Furthermore, Flamingo has painted a much larger area. You know, one bucket of Flamingo paint is equal to several buckets of any other paint brand on the market. Flamingo paint is made with superior formulation to give superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage. Flamingo paint, simply superior.
You need to ask yourself, where do you want to go? No matter who you are, trust yourself. Doing big. Break the rules, not the laws. Keep pushing. Everything is possible. Trust yourself. Life is about confidence. Africa, it's your time.
Son, live with confidence.
The sweet scent of rose in the morning brings me so much joy. Inspired by damask rose and infused with 100% natural rose oil. Introducing new Clay Soft Perfume Beats washing powder. It's like bringing a garden with you everywhere with this wonderful perfume. Take a garden with you everywhere you go with Clay Soft Perfume Beats washing powder.
Are you tired of struggling with bad financial situations? At Quick Credit, we understand the difficulties that come with transitioning to a better one. That's why we're here to simplify the process for you. With loan facilities from 1,500 cedis upwards, all you have to do is call and we will take care of the rest. All you need is your national ID. No savings, no collateral, no susu, no deposits, and no account opening required. Quick Credit has you covered. Whether you're expanding a business, starting a new one, facing an emergency like school fees or funeral expenses, or even just in need of a salary loan. What are you waiting for? Call Quick Credit today. 0302 200 390 or 059 692 0833. We do not give loans via the internet. Quick Credit is regulated and licensed by the Bank of Ghana. Terms and conditions apply. Quick Credit. Lending made simple.
Mission is supported by the Star Ghana Foundation and the Foreign Commonwealth Development Office. The 16-year-old breastfeeding student of the Gundok Junior High School, who skips instructional hours to go and breastfeed her baby, has received support. A philanthropist has donated a bicycle and monthly stipend to Mary.
Mary, a single parent, is in junior high school Form 3. She's back in school to continue her education due to the implementation of the re-entry policy by the Ghana Education Service. A desire to impact society and have a dignified life urged her to come back after giving birth. During break, she treks 3 kilometers to go and breastfeed her baby at home, treks back after. The baby is being catered for by her mother. Teachers say this makes her lose out on some lessons because she always returns late to class. After TV3 aired her plight, an anonymous philanthropist came to her aid. They presented a bicycle to facilitate her movement. She will always be receiving stipend every month for the upkeep of both Mary and her baby. Mary was grateful.
Thank you, TV. Yeah, I thank for the one who gave me a bicycle. It will help me for going to school and coming back and breastfeed my child. I promise that I will never miss myself from school until I complete SS.
Head teacher of the Gundog Junior High School commended Mission Ghana for bringing issues confronting the school to the public for assistance.
We are very happy and we thank the donors for this great offer they have given us to enable our students to be able to be mobile and take part in lessons. We also thank Mission Ghana for all the activities they've carried out in this school to help us to enable the re-entry policy of the government to be implemented. It's going to actually help facilitate the girl child education. Looking at this locality, girl child education is on the low decency. At the lower levels, they are able to, enrollment numbers are high, but when they get to the junior high, they start dropping. Most of them are teenage pregnancies, that some of them child marriage and all these things. It goes away to affect the girls. So I know this will help us so that the re-entry policy will also help the girl child so that the numbers will increase.
For Mary, striving to achieve academic success will guide her.
All the best to Mary, and that's it for Mission, supported by the Star Ghana Foundation and the Foreign Commonwealth Development Office.
I'm sure you know we're still in the Eid movement, and Vice President Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia has urged Muslims to continue to uphold the virtues of Ramadan even as they end the month-long fast. Addressing this year's Eid celebrations at the Black Star Square in Accra, the Vice President noted the Akufo-Addo-led government has undertaken inclusive policies which have benefited especially the underprivileged in society.
Our government has been inspired by the spirit of inclusiveness to, over the past 6 years, pursue inclusive policies which embrace all and are also bearing fruits for the collective development of our country. Brothers and sisters, there are so many examples of what we have done to recognize and include everyone as a fundamental national framework for our collective takeoff and progress. Our vigorous national digital identity and property address system is a clear example of our inclusive policy to recognize every Ghanaian and household, regardless of economic and social status. A unique identity as a Ghanaian is a right which cannot be denied anyone. Thanks to our inclusive policy for collective development, every constituency today has an active ambulance taking care of emergencies on a daily basis. And thanks to our inclusiveness, every Ghanaian child has free access to secondary education and vocational training. One of our inclusive development policies has also been the establishment of the special development agencies, which includes the establishment of the Zongo Development Fund.
In more news tonight, soil depletion in Africa should be viewed as a disaster that requires emergency and immediate attention. That's according to the director of the Alliance for Africa Partnership Secretariat, who says about 40% of Africa's soil nutrients are being lost, leading to reduction in food production.
Africa has the most impoverished soils as tons of soil nutrients wash into the sea. The main cause of Africa's poor soil health is soil erosion, which occurs when wind or rain sweeps topsoil away. The amount of soil that is carried away is influenced by the strength of the rain or wind, the soil quality, the topography, and the amount of shrubs. Ghana's savanna regions are among the worst affected on the continent. Food production in Africa would have to expand by roughly 100% by 2050 to keep up with population demands. But Professor Richard Nkandari regards the current situation as an emergency because 83% of sub-Saharan Africans depend on agriculture.
Everybody agrees that our soils in Africa are some of the most depleted. This is an emergency, it's a crisis which we need to attend to. It's a crisis which our leaders need to attend to. It's an emergency that needs to be addressed.
The Deputy Minister for Food and Agriculture in charge of crops, Yao Frimpong Addo, acknowledged the crucial role of fertilizer and soil health in promoting agricultural output for food, nutrition security and higher income.
The private sector actors in the agribusiness and fertilizer value chains are facing serious challenges in playing their roles in making fertilizer available and accessible, as you add, affordable to the smallholder farmers across West Africa. And this is adversely affecting the attainment of the set goals and targets for the agricultural development initiatives in our respective countries.
CEO of African Fertilizer and Agribusiness Partnership, AFAP, Michael Sudakasa, demanded commitments from governments and policymakers towards the fertilizer value chain.
Because they create potentially offtake opportunities for our farmers. Because if a decision is taken by ECOWAS, all of the member states have to adopt it.
The country lead for the Feed the Future policy link, Yunus Abdullahi, called for open discussions to help develop evidence-based policy recommendations to support Ghana's fertilizer and agro-input sectors.
How fertilizer policies, regulatory regimes could be coherent and support access, and particularly to the smallholder farmer in Ghana.
The dialogue is a component of the West African preparations for the African Soil Health Summit to be held in Dakar, Senegal in July this year.
The quest to make Ghana a rice production hub to shore up the economy is being pursued by the private sector. The University of Cape Coast has been commissioned by the Asian African Consortium to research into rice varieties and sites suitable in the country.
Agriculture, which used to be the backbone of the economy, lost its position to the services and industry sectors, now contributing 19.71% to the country's gross domestic product. As a result, the country heavily imports key staple crops to augment the national food stock. Rice is one of them. According to statistics from Ministry of Food and Agriculture, between 2008 and 2020, paddy rice production ranged between 302,000 metric tons and 987,000 metric tons. Total rice consumption in 2020 amounted to about 1,450,000 metric tons, equivalent to per capita consumption of about 45.0 kilograms per annum. Rice import into Ghana has shot up from 24,000 tons in 1971 to 950,000 tons in 2020, growing at an average rate of 12.5%. There is thus the need to ensure increased and sustained domestic production of quality rice to ensure food security, import substitution and savings in foreign exchange. Attempts by successive governments to improve agriculture to sustainably grow enough rice for local consumption and export have received little push, compelling the private sector to take charge. To help enhance local rice production, sufficiency and for exports. An agreement between the Asian African Consortium and the University of Cape Coast has been reached. This will see the University of Cape Coast research into rice varieties, including pest-resistant and nutritious grains that will meet export requirements. The university will also take charge of rice production within the Central and Western Enclave, while the Asian African Consortium, a subsidiary of the Jospon Group, will finance the projects.
More than 30 years we've imported rice. We import in maize, soya, if you are going to deal with a situation which is 30 years, you must go very carefully.
Vice-Chancellor of the University of Cape Coast, Professor Johnson Nyako Boampong, said the university has a track record in research and will assemble experts to deliver the task.
Last year, we got about 5 varieties that have been patented. So we have the knowledge and skills. And so if we get the students, he'll be able to breed new ones from it. We have people who are also soil scientists, as I mentioned. We have agriculture engineers. We only have to bring them together, making sure that they have what it takes to undertake their research.
Chief Executive Officer of African Asian Consortium, Adelaide Bruce Siao Ijapong, indicated that provision has been made to rope in local farmers into the production value chain.
Some of the youth are not enthused to do agriculture stuff, but this time around we are making it palatable and appealing, bringing on board smart farming, sophisticated machineries, so that the youth will have more job to do and will be enthused about farming. That way our economy will be blessed.
We have sports news coming up shortly. Don't go away.
Many women lose their unborn babies to malaria. Every time, your child misses school for about a week or more because of malaria. Every month, you cut work and lose income because you have malaria. You have to pay for treatment of malaria and other bills. This is a drain on your pocket and your well-being. This has got to stop. To take action, ensure to sleep under an insecticide-treated mosquito nets every night and throughout the night with your family. Let's keep our environment clean to prevent mosquitoes from breeding. Drain or cover all breeding sites. Sister, go to the nearest health facility for early ANC and be sure to follow the schedule and take all the doses of SP at the advice of the health worker for a malaria-free pregnancy. Seek early diagnosis and treatment when you suspect you have malaria, and make sure you take all your malaria medicine as prescribed when you test positive. I am Ohinere Gifty Nana Efia Dansua Auntie, your zero malaria advocate. Join me to say zero malaria starts with me and you.
The fishing industry in Ghana is of prime importance to the economy and the well-being of the people. Sadly, this critical industry faces a hidden threat that threatens its very existence and survival. Join us as we shine our spotlight on the canker of illegal fishing, a practice that has devastated our marine resources, depleting our fish stock, leaving our fishermen with empty nets, fish processors struggling to survive, and our communities in dire straits. We delve into safe fish handling and processing, certification and licensing schemes. We focus our sharp lenses on child labor and trafficking in fishing communities to demand accountability and responsiveness from duty bearers. Join Three Foundations advocacy for Ghana's fisheries recovery through missions compelling and captivating advocacy. Keep an eye out on TV3. This program is under the auspices of the Feed the Future Ghana Fisheries Recovery Activity, funded by USAID, from the American people, live on News 360 and across all Media General social media platforms.
What's your take on an ideal guy?
I'm attracted to sapiosexuals.
Oh, sapiosexuals. Cool.
The smart guys.
See, I am one.
What's your take for the constitutional review?
See, they are really disturbing. They are worrying. Review. Constitutional review. The call for a constitutional review is not a bad call.
Really?
At all. Especially in the light of the fact that some laws have outlived their usefulness.
It was just gentlemen. I think Afena-Gyan.
Afena-Gyan? Who doesn't know Afena-Gyan? Excellent footballer. Dangerous. Tactical.
There's this show on TV. It's a music show. Mentor.
I like Mento. See, my family watches Mento. Everybody. Hey, see, everywhere Mento.
Where are they?
Eh?
Where are they?
Mentor's gonna take you higher.
Don't be clueless. Stay on top of issues with 3news.com and tune in to Media General's radio platforms on the go using 3news.com.
Sports segment is brought to you by Gentleman Cosmetic Range.
It's time for sports here on News 360. I am Aniela Alote. We begin on the domestic front with the Ghana Premier League. Accra Hearts of Oak were stunned by Bechem United at the Nana Fosu Park with a narrow win thanks to a spot kick from Hafiz Konkoni.
Good turn from Abdul Karim. Here's Setko Jose. Good movement. Clinton Dodu steps up. Here's Dodu. He goes down in the box. It's a penalty. Penalty. Look at the movement of Kajose. He spots Clinton Dodu's run. He goes forward. He made contact. Referee thinks the contact is enough to warrant a penalty. Referee whistles. Konkoni steps forward. And Hafiz Konkoni makes it 1-0 for Bechem United. His 13th goal of the season. Bechem United 1, Hearts 0.
Proceeding to the English Premier League, Diogo Jota and Mohamed Salah were on target as Liverpool recorded a 3-2 victory over Nottingham Forest at Anfield to climb to 7th on the table.
Liverpool have the lead. Their persistence pays off. Both would clearly be desperate to get involved. Gibbs White. Nico Williams, deflection, goal! Jota with lots of space. And the finish to match. And from Niakate. Gibbs White will hit it! Goal for Nottingham Forest! They may be deep in trouble, but they're doing everything to find a way out. In from Alexander-Arnold! In from Salah! It's another goal from a free kick in this game. And Mo Salah. Nottingham Forest convinced that they should have a free kick here.
Yeah, well, they're looking at offside, and it's Niakate in the middle, who's with Kanate, and it's his foot that's playing Mohamed Salah on. Clearly onside Mohamed Salah.
Goal is given.
Still in England, but on to the FA Cup. Riyad Mahrez scored the first hat-trick in an FA Cup semi-final since 1958 as Manchester City kept their quest for the treble on course by outclassing Sheffield United at Wembley.
Post Laporte arriving, it's headed away, comes back to Bernardo Silva. Jefferson trying to get clear, but I think he may have committed a foul, and that's going to be a penalty. What a mistake from the youngster. Fotheringham against Mahrez. Simple and effective. Manchester City haven't had much joy. Mahrez has robbed Max Lowe. Haaland is on his bike and charging towards the edge of the penalty area. Mahrez might go all the way here. It just seemed to open up in front of him, and he couldn't resist the invitation. Quiet. 65 gone. Grealish. In towards Mahrez. It's a hat-trick. Riyad Mahrez for Manchester City gets the first FA Cup semi-final hat-trick. since Alex Dawson for Manchester United in a replay win for Fulham against Fulham at Highbury. And what a story. All eyes on Haaland, but it's Mahrez who does the damage.
His teammates want to receive. Not been a better example of it today.
Heading over now to boxing, Niger White Event Center is set to host the Night of Stars and Celebrities boxing bout on April 30th. The event is set to create opportunities for young Ghanaian boxers to become world champions.
Bronx Boxing Promotions, Box Office Sports and Kabik Promotions, as well as Management Syndicate have joined hands as partners for the programs on the bill. Young rising stars who are aiming for world titles. The main bout of the night is a 12-round WBO Africa Featherweight Championship between John Lai and Solomon Mate, as well as the main undercard 12-round West Africa Boxing Union Super Welterweight Championship between Emmanuel Quay and Jacob Tetelai. The Bukum bomber Alfred Lamte, also called Showtime, will face Namibian Nathaniel Kalololo in a 10-round Super Featherweight contest. The show will be rounded off with a 12-round WBO Africa Super Welterweight Championship between Patrick Alote and Suleiman Jafaro. Promising fans of how interesting the night will be, some boxers have this to say.
A night is going to be a good night, and I wish everyone to come and witness what is boxing. And I thank my opponent, Michael Tego, that he's a very good boxer, and I wish he will be giving me good fight in the night.
Emmanuel Quay, ele choco fire. Ni mwene binege itawe ke choco fire. Eba do much. Engona wa ge ni ne wa ba no. Eja ge ka ye ku esa ge akpopo ko ji ami ko ni ana ge dadi e ko mi wa fe ko.
Organizers also believe the night is set to be interesting and a memorable one in the history of Ghana boxing.
Our major concern will be winning a world title, just like anybody here will be happy that we get a world title. So if promoters can be up and doing and pushing for platforms like we have now, I'm sure that in no time we can create the necessary environment so that everyone's wish, which is getting a world title, can be achieved.
That will be all for sports here on News 360. Up next is international news. Eid Mubarak.
Heavy fighting is continuing in Sudan's capital, Khartoum, between warring factions that have plunged the country into chaos, with foreign expatriates preparing to flee via military escort. Many civilians report basic supplies, such as water and food, are running out after 7 days of war. The violence was triggered by disagreement over an international-backed plan to form a new civilian government 4 years after the fall of authoritarian leader Omar al-Bashir and 2 years after a military coup. Both sides accused the other of thwarting the transition. The Sudanese government said on Saturday it was coordinating efforts to evacuate diplomats from the United States, Britain, China and France out of the country on military aeroplanes. Diplomats and their families from Saudi Arabia has already made it out of Sudan. Jordanian nationals were set to leave later. Army Chief Abdel Fattah al-Burhan spoke to leaders requesting safe evacuations of their citizens and diplomats from Sudan, which has been roiled by bloody fighting for the past week. Countries have struggled to repatriate their citizens amid deadly clashes that have killed more than 400 people so far. With Sudan's main international airport closed, foreign countries have ordered their citizens to simply shelter in place until they can figure out evacuation plans. At least 9 civilians were killed and over 60 injured in a triple suicide bomb attack in the central Mali town of Sevare early on Saturday. A spokesman for the regional governor, Yakubu Maiga, told Reuters the blast destroyed about 20 houses in the neighborhood. Earlier on Saturday, Mali's government said in a statement read on national television that a terrorist attack has been stopped by the army in Savary. There was no immediate claim of responsibility for the attack.
Entertainment news segment is brought to you by Awake Purified Drinking Water and powered by 3 Entertainment.
Tonight in this segment, Ghanaian rapper Ruth Eno Adjoa-Mankwa, stage name Eno Baroni, is in the news over the performance she put up at Legon Presec's Bonfire and Artist Night. In a viral video, a student is invited on stage, made to sprawl out on the floor, and one of Eno's plus-sized dancers is seen doing a split and landing on the student, which appeared to have had a heavy impact on the boy. The rapper has since been heavily criticized over the incident, with many curious to know if the student got hurt. Others have also expressed disappointment in school authorities for looking unconcerned as the unfortunate act happened.
Elsewhere, VGMA Unsung Act of the Year nominee Nia Shan has played his debut show in Europe. The Sisi Yellow singer performed alongside Ghanaian Afropop songstress Wiala, and other renowned artists are the Afrilax Dodo and Friends concert in Switzerland. The fast emerging artist excited patrons of the concert with his breathtaking delivery. Nia Shan first performed the song Kotoka with popular Swiss artist Dodo, and later joined Wiala to entertain the charged crowd with the song Tell Money to Come. Afrilax Dodo and Friends concert also headlined musicians like host Wegner from Germany, Ivory Coast Jimmy James, Sir Jermaine, and one from South Africa.
In more entertainment news, artist, manager and showbiz pundit Bull God has been reacting to Obuafo's lawsuit against Canadian rapper Drake, and who actually owns the intellectual property at the center of controversy. Per his analysis, Manche is the right owner of the intellectual property.
With intellectual property, whether you were paid for the work or not, you still own it. Nobody can pay for your mind. It's just like creating beats. Anybody who creates the beats, once even if you pay for the beats, you just hide the beats. You understand? But intellectually, it's the person who composed the beats who owns it for life, and that's why we have split sheets. You understand? So even if Obuafo paid Manche for this work, Manche owns the intellectual property. Manche is a co-writer. You understand? So when you come to split sheets, and like the lawyer said, if Obuafo has registered this song solely for him, that's theft.
Is it?
Yes, to start with. Because when you go there, there are co-writers. And in the split sheets, everybody needs to make their money. Now, when we talk about writing or composition in music, it's not just about the people writing the lyrics. The people playing the beats are composers as well. You understand? So everybody in there gets a bite of the cake. You understand? And especially in this sampling, whatever it is Manche's voice that we hear clearly. So Obuafo has no right, and Manche is right.
Well, that's how we conclude News 360 on this Eid Mubarak Day. Thank you so much for watching, and happy celebrations to all my Muslim friends. For more news, you know what to do. Just log on to our website. It's www.3news.com. My name is Pa Kwesi Asare.
And I am Portia Gabo. Enjoy your weekend.
This program is rated PG. It contains scenes of brief nudity, mild violence, and strong language. Parental guidance is advised.